Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adriana Bennett, and I'm a senior at St. Genevieve High School. I would like to welcome everyone to the Veterans Day Tribute Assembly. At this time, would everyone please turn off their cell phones so that the assembly is not disrupted?
Hello, my name is Ava Greer. I'm a junior at St. Genevieve High School. The purpose of this assembly is to honor our veterans for their dedication and willingness to fight for our freedom. This is a serious assembly, so please give these dedicated men and women the respect they deserve. We expect you to listen, think about what is being said, and remain quiet throughout the assembly. Veterans, spouses, and guests, on behalf of the students, staff, and administration here at St. Genevieve, I would like to thank you for your attendance at this program. It is an honor here to have you with us.
At this time, I would like to introduce the VFW Post 2210 Color Guard for the presentation of the colors. Would everyone please stand and remain silent?
The national anthem will be performed by us today by the St. Genevieve High School Chorale.
I would like to call to the podium SGHS seniors Caleb Wilson and Caden Smith. These two young men graduated basic training this summer and are official members of the United States Army and will be stationed after graduation this spring. These two soldiers will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise and please remove your hats.
At this time, I would like you to direct your attention to the video board for a video created by SDHS Dragon Lair Production.
In a world filled with ordinary people, there are those who stand out as extraordinary pillars of strength, courage, and sacrifice.
There is no greater honor than knowing that I voluntarily answered the call and stood ready to fight if that was what my country needed from me. This commitment and sacrifice is one that less than 1% of Americans can say they have made. There will always be a special place in my heart for those that have answered the call and stood as a pillar for the freedom we experience in our great nation.
We can ensure that their sacrifices are never forgotten. So on this day, and every day, let us stand together and say, thank you, veterans. Thank you for your bravery, your sacrifice, and your enduring love for our nation. You are the embodiment of honor, and your legacy will shine as a beacon of hope and inspiration for generations to come. In a
I would like to ask Ms. Sharon Giesler from the VFW Post 2210 Auxiliary to please recognize our veterans in attendance today.
All right, most of these names I got at the luncheon at the Legion. If I missed somebody, I'm really sorry. All right, from the Korean War, we have Herb Nagar, Bob Roth, and Sean Baker. If you are here, you can stand and be recognized, and then we'll hold all applause till the end. From the Cuban Crisis, we have Bob Steiger, Wayne Bosler. From the Vietnam veterans that were deployed, we have Virgil Boyer, John Gack, Paul Brishley, Dennis Grass, Marty Witkoff, Paul Harmon, George Meyer, Bob Follert, Ed Nagar, Dan Giesler, Teddy Ross, Norman Stoll, Bob Seibel, Ronald Coleman, Don Buat, Robert Earlbeck, Tom Brown, Mike Dunsey, Mike Oddie, Tom Schweigert, and Ronnie Greer. From the Vietnam era, we have Warren Jokerst, Henry Linderer, Earl Walker, Paul Oddie, Ken Jokerst, Paul Thompson, Glenn Flugie, John Wibbenmeyer, Tom Roth, Jim Holofield, Ralph Pike, Dennis Wolk, Charlie Kurtz, John Clayton, Joe Shilley, Bob Schwent, Ray Gettinger, Bob Winston, Kenneth Grass, John Boyd, Willie Joggerst, and Jim Bone. From the Persian Gulf War, Warren Jokerst, Paul Harmon, Mike Sizemore, Lance White, Patty Furman, Daryl Syak, sorry if I misdone that, Sean Heberly. From Iraqi Freedom, Mike Sizemore, Matthew Barr, Justin King, Sean Baker, and Scott Johnson. From the war in Afghanistan, Justin King and Scott Johnson. And peacetime veterans, we have Paul Harmon, Bill Kreitler, Vernon Kist, Mary Wharton, Caleb Wilson, Clinton Beckley, Nathaniel McElligott, Caden Smith, Linda Lewis, Richard App, and Sean Baker. Thank you all.
At this time, we would like to recognize all St. Genevieve alumni that are currently serving our country. These young men and women are stationed around the world. If you are on leave and in attendance today, or if you're a family member of one of these alumni, we invite you to stand as their names are read. From the Marines, Jesse Kemper, Travis Operly, Brian Selby, Nathan Selby, Bryce Challenger, Austin Caldwell, Diamond Bird, and Brandon Williamson. From the Army, Zach Dye, Chris McNellis, Josh Baker, Claire Bosler, Bryce Bonert, Devin Bieberly, Blake Moore, Jonah Fahrenberg, Luke Himmerla. From the Air Force, Nolan Klump, Wyatt Hahn, Josh Operly, Jeremy Williamson, Jordan Janisek, and Derek Meyer. From the Navy, Matt Bader, CJ Byer, Nick Geck, Genevieve Nicholson, Clayton Kreitler, Sam Stolzer, Finn Kavanaugh, Nick Robinson. From Space Force, Lane Devine, and from the Coast Guard, Ben Rosen. And we also have several video clips we would like to share with you, prepared by DLP student Kai Harris. These clips include St. Genevieve alumni stationed around the world. Please redirect your attention to the video board.
This is Lieutenant Commander Nick Gegg, United States Navy, United States Navy Seabee, United States Navy diver, class of '98, currently stationed in Naples, Italy. I want to give a shout out to those of you who have already signed up to make this commitment, and for those of you that are on the fence, I say go for it. Ooh-yah, Navy.
Hello, my name is Genevieve Nicholson. I'm from the class of 2020. I've been in the U.S. Navy a little over 2 years now, and I'm currently stationed in San Diego, California as the lead neurosurgical technician. I'd like to give a huge shout out to the teachers and faculty for giving each and every one of us the tools we need to go out and achieve great things. And to all the past, current, and future veterans out there, thank you for everything you do, and happy Veterans Day.
Hello, this is Lance Corporal Selby with the United States Marine Corps, grad year 2021, currently stationed in Eglin Air Force Base, Fort Walton Beach, Florida for the F-35 Bravo Schoolhouse. After this, I'll be going to Iwakuni, Japan. Shout out to Coach Bono and the wrestling team and my little cousin Owen Drury.
Hi, I'm Technical Sergeant Lane Devine, and I am in the United States Space Force. I'm currently stationed at Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada, and I work for the 328th Weapons Squadron. Quick shout out to Allison Boyette, you better be wearing your red shirt, and Sherry's volleyball squad.
Good afternoon. My name is Christian Kiefer, and I graduated from the class of 2022. I am a seaman in the Navy Reserves, and I am currently in Norfolk, Virginia for training for my unit, which is the Military Sea Lift Command. I would like to shout out my sister, Vivian Kiefer.
I'm Brian Selby. I graduated in 2018. I'm a Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps, and I'm stationed on the Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst in New Jersey. I'll give a shout out to my little cousin Owen.
Lance Corporal Bryce Challenger, Marine Corps, 3MF Band, Okinawa, Japan, class of 2020. Shout out to my little brother Mason and to Mr. Mooney. Hoorah!
Hello, my name is Senior Airman Nolan Klump, and I was a graduate of the class of 2020. I am currently in the United States Air Force as an intelligence analyst at the 20th Fighter Wing in Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina. I'd like to give a shout out to Olivia Klump, Sadie Grimminger, and Tanner Heverly.
My name is A1C Jordan Janisek. My graduation year here was 2018. Shout out to my baby sister Lucy and my brother Gunner. My job in the United States Air Force is an airborne ISR operator, so I work on computers on the back of the plane.
Good morning from Camp Carroll, South Korea. My name is Staff Sergeant Jonathan Vogt. I've been in the military for 7 years, the Army to be more exact, because that's the only branch that really matters. I'd love to give a shout out to Cameron Vogt, Katie Vogt, and Abby Vogt. See you guys soon.
To all of our alumni currently serving, thank you for your service, and for family members, thank you for your sacrifice. At this time, we would also like to recognize 8 of our seniors who plan to enlist in the military after graduation. Please stand as we call your name. Caleb Wilson, Caden Smith, Nathaniel McGilligan, Aiden White, Braden Coons, Zachary Fleeg, Gavin Amlog, and Noah Baker. Thank you for answering the call to service and for choosing to help protect us and our freedoms.
At this time, the St. Genevieve Middle School Band will perform God Bless America.
It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium St. Genevieve Board of Education President David Bova to say a few words and make a special introduction.
It's my honor to speak to you today and thank all of our veterans and active duty military for all they provide to our community and our country. Veterans Day is a solemn occasion for us to honor and pay tribute to the brave men and women who served and sacrificed for our nation. Our veterans sacrifice much for our safety and security, as do their loved ones, who I would also like to thank. That sacrifice and dedication deserves to be recognized and respected, and our ceremony here today is just a small but important part of that recognition. Our veterans come from all walks of life, across all branches. Across all branches, our nation's veterans come from the country and the city, from generational military service to first-generation service, and from families of all types, just as our students do. But our veterans all share at least one thing in common: dedication. Dedication to our country and to protecting the nation and its citizens, and we hope to honor that dedication here today and always. Our district's motto here at St. Genevieve is family, tradition, excellence. For that's part of that strong tradition is to make certain that your excellence in serving our nation, your dedication to our nation, is recognized, and we let you know how thankful we are that you're a part of our family, our community family, and our school family, that come together to recognize those members who fought and served to provide us with the safety and security we treasure. Part of that recognition is not only the meal, parade, and assembly here today, but also the ability for our students and all of us to remember and recognize that our veterans aren't just a part of history, but that they're also our neighbors, our community members, and for many of us here today, our family and friends. In addition to honoring all our veterans here today, we would like to also recognize the sacrifice of POWs and MIA soldiers and help make sure that our students and our community honor their high sacrifice. One of our tremendous teachers, Dr. Rhett Oldham, reached out to Jefferson Barracks POW MIA Museum to discuss this collaboration and then present a possibility to our board. Dr. Oldham stated, "The way we honor veterans here at St. Gen R2, and more importantly, the way our students approach our Veterans Day assemblies, they understand the importance of the sacrifice of our veterans." To me, proposing this designation was an extension of what we already do. This POW MIA status underscores our feelings, thoughts, and emotions toward all of our veterans. Dr. Oldham was not able to be here today, but I would like to thank him for helping our district achieve this partnership, and I would also like to honor him as a veteran of the U.S. Air Force and thank him for serving our nation. As I mentioned, this designation as a POW MIA campus is in partnership with the Jefferson Barracks POW MIA Museum, and it is now my pleasure to welcome a member of their board of directors to the podium, Mr. Scott Riednauer.
Thank you, President Bova. It's an honor to be here. Veterans, thank you for your sacrifice. Family members, thank you for your sacrifice as well. We are not able to sit here today if it wasn't for your service. The POW MIA Museum at Jefferson Barracks, the goal is to make sure that no one is forgotten. No one is left behind. Presently, there are over 82,000 of our servicemen and women who are still missing in action. The goal is to raise awareness, to educate, to honor, and hopefully bring them home if we can. That is the goal of the museum since it was started in 2012. Since January, there is a group in our country that works to bring them home. It is the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency. And since January 1st of this year, they brought home 56 of our servicemen and women. And we're thankful for the work that the DPAA does to bring home our veterans that were lost on foreign shores. Like I said, the goal of the museum is to raise awareness and to educate, and that is critical. Because names need not be forgotten, lives need not be forgotten. Michael Blassie was shot down on a mission in May of 1972. His remains were recovered in October of that same year, but because of some faulty testing that was done, he was put in a box marked X26 and put on a shelf, and his family was told that he was missing in action. In 1984, 12 years later, President Reagan needed someone to represent the Vietnam missing in action, and he picked box X26 to go to Arlington National Cemetery at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And Michael Blassie's remains were put there. Fast forward another 10 years. A Green Beret and an activist named Ted Sampley came to the Blassie family and said, "Your son is the representative in the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier." They said, "No, we don't. There's too much emotion going on. No, not right now." But he wouldn't give up. And after 4 years, CBS News ran a story, and the Blassie family put pressure on the Department of Defense. And in 1998, after 26 years of missing in action, through DNA testing, Michael Blassie was brought home from Arlington Cemetery to Jefferson Barracks Cemetery because he is from St. Louis. Michael Blassie's name need not be forgotten. When I spoke with his sisters a couple years ago, it was bad enough that he was missing in action. But when they're missing in action and he's an unknown, he lost his name as well. He has been brought back home. That's what this is all about. We need not forget about Michael Blassie. There's another individual that I want to tell you about, and that's Private First Class Walter George Shearer, Jr. In 1952, the 7th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division, was stationed on the western front of the main line of resistance in a series of Allied defense positions known as Jamestown Line. One platoon, Company A, 1st Battalion, was tasked with defending the outpost Warsaw on that line. On the night of October 26, 1952, Chinese forces overran that position. And Private First Class Walter George Shearer, Jr. was severely injured. And 2 witness accounts show that he was taken captive by the Chinese Communist forces that evening. Ever since that moment, on October 26, 1952, Private First Class Shearer has been missing in action, and to this day he is still missing in action. We need not forget Walter George Shearer Jr., because Private First Class Walter George Shearer Jr. is from St. Genevieve. He's walked these streets. He may have sat in the same pews that you sit in at church in the mornings on Sundays. He may have walked and probably walked the same halls you walk every day. His sacrifice need not be forgotten. And that is the whole purpose of the MIA POWs. POWs, prisoners of war. MIA, missing in action. It's not pronounced Palmia, prisoners of war, missing in action. And we need to make sure that we all remember these people, these individuals who gave their lives in service so that we can sit here today. The directors of the museum saw it important to make sure that we educate. St. Genevieve is a community that's rich in heritage and history. And that's what I've always admired about this community and about this school district. You understand tradition. You understand the importance of those that serve our country. And that's why I was very excited when you guys pursued the designation as a POW MIA designated campus. That's what the sign is on the floor. To never forget, when you see those signs around campus, when you see these flags, you understand what it's about. When you see a chair like this chair is empty to represent the 82,000 Americans who are still missing that wish they could be at this ceremony today. That chair will remain empty until they all come home. So I'll invite Dr. Taylor to the stage. And I'd like to read this proclamation from the Jefferson Barracks POW MIA Museum. Whereas St. Genevieve County R2 School District in the state of Missouri remains resolute that no serviceman or servicewoman who can be recovered shall be knowingly left behind on the field of battle, and whereas the St. Genevieve County R2 School District holds with the highest regard the sacrifices of all American prisoners of war who surrendered their freedom and endured great hardship in the defense of American liberties and values, and whereas on this date the number of Americans missing in action stands at 81,395, and whereas the students and faculty of the St. Genevieve School District hold dear the sacrifice of all American servicemen and women who have given their lives with specific attention by this proclamation to those whereabouts still remain unknown, and whereas the St. Genevieve County R2 School District recognizes the POW MIA flag designated by Newt Hensley in 1972 as a symbol of our nation's concern and commitment to resolving as fully as possible the fates of all Americans still prisoner, missing, and unaccounted for in all U.S. wars, thus ending the uncertainty for their families and the nations by finally providing closure. And whereas the St. Genevieve County R2 School District is encouraged to display the POW MIA flag when practical and appropriate in conjunction with the flag of the United States. Whereas the students and faculty of the St. Genevieve County R2 School District with somber appreciation extend their gratitude to all POW and MIA family members who continue to carry the burden of their personal loss and offer encouragements to the fate and location of their missing loved ones will be made known again. Now, therefore, by majority consent of the Jefferson Barracks POW MIA Museum Board of Directors, hereby proclaim St. Genevieve County R2 School District a POW MIA campus. Congratulations.
Now, Ms. Lois Fleeg, member of the VFW Post 2210 Auxiliary, will recognize our local distinguished veterans who have recently passed away.
When I think of Veterans Day, I sometimes get very emotional. I would like to touch on a few things I feel. I feel proud. I'm proud of the fact that I come from a family of veterans and that I have developed a strong friendship and bond with so many of our local veterans. I feel love. The love that veterans have shown and continue to show in their military service, defending our country and our great nation, makes me proud. I feel respect. Veterans are to be acknowledged and respected all of the time, not just on Veterans Day. Today we honor all of our veterans who unselfishly place their lives on the line for our freedom. Those men and women were ordinary people until they heard the call of duty and answered it. They left their families, their homes, and their lives, not for recognition or fame, or even the honor we bestow upon them today. They fought to protect our country and to maintain our way of life. As we honor our veterans and remember their great deeds, let us also salute those who are currently fighting for our freedom. At this time, I would like to remember the 25 local veterans we have lost since our last Veterans Day program. Marvin Oddie, November 6, 2022. Timothy Palmer, November 8, 2022. William Miles, December 1st, 2022. Robert Ream, December 9th, 2022. Joseph Sykes, December 30th, 2022. Merlin Rowley, February 16th, 2023. Gerald Hook, February 18th, 2023. James Nagger, February 19th, 2023. Mark Beard, March 24th, 2023. William Stang, April 2nd, 2023. William Stam, April 20th, 2023. Walter Schwent, May 17th, 2023. Richard Lee, May 27th, 2023. Ernest Figge, June 8th, 2023. John Pancho Jr., June 8th, 2023. Ronnie Gibson, June 15th, 2023. Joseph Stanley, June 19th, 2023. Donald Hook, July 5th, 2023. Glennon Cabral, July 15th, 2023. Edward Waymeyer, August 11th, 2023. Lawrence Schmidt, August 23rd, 2023. Henry Thilking, September 9th, 2023. Lloyd Allen, October 26th, 2023. Kevin Kaiser, October 31st, 2023. Alan Hasty, November 2nd, 2023. In closing, I would encourage each and every one of you to take time to love, honor, appreciate, and respect veterans. Remember the reason for Veterans Day. Thank you.
Members of the VFW Post 2210 will now conduct the moment of silence in the three-gun volley. Students, there will be shots fired during the three-gun volley. Please do not scream or laugh during this presentation. Immediately following the three-gun volley, St. Genevieve band member Holland Zangaro will perform taps.
At this time, I would like to call Nathan Johnson to the podium. Nathan is a senior at St. Genevieve High School and is the son of retired Staff Sergeant Scott Johnson of the United States Army.
Good afternoon, HHS. My name is Nathan Johnson. I'd first like to start off this speech by saying thank you to the men and women who have served our country or are currently serving. I would also like to thank my grandpa, who served in World War II, my brother, who served in the Army, my brother-in-law, who is currently serving in the Air Force, and last but not least, my dad, who served and retired from the United States Army. Today isn't about getting out of your 6th and 7th hour, but rather paying attention and respecting the men and women who served or are serving our country. Growing up in a military family, you tend to learn a lot. I've lived in 6 different houses, I've had to move every 2 years, and I had to constantly make new friends. Although I still understood why we were moving, I never understood until later in my life that being part of a military family requires so much sacrifice. My dad, retired Staff Sergeant Johnson, taught me in those moments what sacrifice was. Today I cannot speak from the perspective of being in the military, but I come from the perspective of being part of a military family. The things I've seen my family struggle with, the things I've seen my parents struggle with, aren't things that no one will understand unless you're put in a similar situation. To know that men and women every day go to fight and not only sacrifice their own lives, but time with their children, time with their wives, their husbands, their families, parents, grandparents, is something that means much more to me than people realize. The bravery and courage that the men and women in the armed forces have is something not a lot of us in the stands have. To lay everything down and go fight for a country that doesn't always appreciate you is something that takes strength and selflessness. In my speech today, there are 3 different things I'd like to speak about. These 3 things are what I've learned from my dad as he served our country. The first thing I'd like to talk about today is sacrifice. The Google definition for sacrifice is to suffer loss of, give up, renounce, injure, or destroy, especially for an ideal belief or end. I've seen my dad sacrifice much more than the average person. I've seen his friends that he worked with give up much more than the average person. People who haven't been put in that situation won't understand it. And I know that coming home from some of the things that you guys have seen is a sacrifice that many won't understand. I know that missing time with your families is a sacrifice that only some can understand. But for all of you who are here or watching online today, I want to applaud you for your sacrifice to this country. Thank you for all you have done or currently doing. The second thing I'd like to talk about today is bravery. The Google definition for bravery is courageous behavior or character. Going into unknown territory brings unwanted things to a person's life. Every time I had to move, I was scared and I was sad. And I know that going overseas, living in new homes, and ultimately living a new life brings different challenges and sometimes fear. But bravery isn't about not being scared. It's about being scared and doing it anyways. I can never understand the emotions you have been through, but I can say thank you for your bravery. In the moments you were scared or you wanted to give up, you kept going. And I want to applaud you and thank you for every time you didn't give up. The last thing I'd like to talk about today is resilience. And the definition for resilience is the capacity to withstand or recover quickly from difficulties. It's ultimately toughness. Every day, to overcome adversity, to overcome the medical conditions that come along with the job is another reason why being in the military isn't for everyone. To be completely honest, there are many different struggles that a service member will face when he or she is put back into a home environment after being away from their family or being overseas. I again cannot speak from experience but from perspective. The men and women I've seen at VA hospitals and military bases who struggle with post-traumatic stress disorder, physical injuries, self-esteem issues, harmful thoughts, are just another reason to believe that service members do carry resilience. Living a different life than everyone else isn't easy. But the reason you guys have been able to do it and overcome it is because you guys carry resilience. And I want to applaud you, because in the times of weakness, in the times of struggle, and in the time of pain, you all pushed on. I thank God for every man and woman here or out serving our country. It is because of you we can sit here today. It is because of you we can enjoy the things we enjoy, and it is because of you we can enjoy the freedoms in this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. The St. Genevieve High School Chorale, under the direction of Mrs. Michelle Jokers, will now perform a tribute to the armed forces. Veterans, we invite you to rise during the portion of the song that represents your branch of service.
At this time, we would like to invite St. Genevieve High School principal and son of Navy Seaman veteran, Dr. John Boyd Jr., to the podium for some final remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, students and veterans, today I have the honor of addressing you as we honor our veterans. As many of you know, I'm an avid runner and spend a lot of time pounding the pavement each morning. One of my favorite parts of running early in the morning is the quietness and the solitude to be able to think. Over the course of the last few weeks, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on how lucky I am to live and enjoy the freedoms in our great country. None of that would be possible without the sacrifice of our veterans. Veterans Day is a special occasion that holds great significance not only in our nation, but personally in my family. It is crucial that we understand the meaning behind this day and the importance of recognizing and appreciating our veterans. First and foremost, Veterans Day is a day of remembrance and gratitude. It is a day set aside to honor and pay tribute to the men and women who have served in our armed forces, dedicating their lives to protecting our nation and the values we hold dear. These brave individuals have sacrificed so much for the cause of freedom, and Veterans Day serves as a reminder of the selflessness and courage of our veterans. As a former social studies teacher, I believe it is also essential to understand that Veterans Day was originally established as Armistice Day on November the 11th, 1919, to commemorate the end of World War I. This war, known as the War to End All Wars, brought unimaginable suffering, and the armistice that ended it was signed on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. This date was chosen to symbolize the hope for a lasting and universal peace. In 1954, the name was officially changed to Veterans Day to honor all American veterans, not just those who served in World War I. It is a day dedicated to celebrating the bravery, patriotism, and sacrifice of every man and woman who has donned the uniform of the United States military. So why is it important to recognize our veterans and commemorate Veterans Day? And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I think it's important. The first of those reasons is to recognize our veterans and allow them to serve as an inspiration for future generations to come. Our veterans' stories can be a source of inspiration for younger generations. They teach us about resilience, courage, and the importance of standing up for our values, even in the face of adversity. The second reason to recognize veterans is to preserve history. Veterans Day provides an opportunity to preserve and share the stories of our veterans that have come before us. Their experiences and their lessons learned from their service are valuable and should be remembered by future generations. I'd like to share a story with all of you, and this is one of my favorite stories that I truly think epitomizes valor and the service to our country of those that have come before us. On the small volcanic island of Iwo Jima, U.S. Marines were tasked with capturing a heavily fortified Japanese position. The battle was fierce, and the casualties were staggering. Amid the chaos and danger, there emerged a remarkable display of courage. One of the Marines, a young man named Jack Lucas, had lied about his age to enlist and was just 17 years old when he found himself on Iwo Jima. During an intense firefight, he and his fellow Marines came under a grenade attack. Jack Lucas quickly realized the gravity of the situation when 2 enemy grenades landed nearby. Listen to this piece. Without hesitation, he threw himself on top of one of the grenades, absorbing the full force of the explosion to shield his comrades from harm. This selfless act saved the lives of his fellow Marines, but it came at a tremendous cost. Jack Lucas was severely wounded and lay on the battlefield thinking he had little chance of survival. Miraculously, he did survive. His Marines refused to leave him behind, and their care and determination, along with the exceptional medical treatment he received, saved his life. Jack Lucas became the youngest Marine to receive the Medal of Honor for his incredible bravery. This story from Iwo Jima illustrates the depth of sacrifice and unity that runs through the hearts of our veterans. It reminds us that veterans are not just individuals who served in the military. They are heroes who have faced extraordinary circumstances, displayed remarkable valor, and forged unbreakable bonds with their comrades. Veterans Day is a day when we honor and remember the countless Jack Lucases who have served our nation. It is a day to recognize their courage, their willingness to protect our freedoms, and their unwavering dedication to the principles and values that make our country great. Let us always remember the sacrifices made by veterans like Jack Lucas, and let their stories serve as an enduring reminder of the courage and selflessness that define our military heroes. Thank you to all the veterans for your service, for your sacrifices, and for your indomitable spirit. The third reason to recognize our veterans is to foster unity. By coming together to honor our veterans, we reinforce the sense of a national unity and patriotism that binds our nation together. It is a day when political and ideological differences can be set aside to acknowledge the shared commitment to our country. The fourth, to recognize our veterans, is to express gratitude. Veterans have put their lives on the line to protect our freedoms and way of life. Recognizing their service is a way to express our gratitude for their sacrifice and dedication. So at this time, I'd like to do something a little different, and I challenge everyone sitting in here to please participate. All of us either have special veterans in our lives or just special people in general. When was the last time that you told that person they were important to you? When was the last time that you told them that you love them? When was the last time that you told a veteran that you appreciated their service to our country? In just a minute, I'm going to explain what my challenge is. But before I do that, don't do anything. Listen to the directions first. That's mostly at you kids. Listen to the directions first. Dr. Smith, could you and your crew give me 2.5 minutes on the clock, please? I'm going to give everyone in this room 2.5 minutes to call, text, in person, thank a veteran or a loved one in their life. I challenge you to let them know, hang on. I challenge you to let them know how much you appreciate them, how much you care for them, how much you love them, and the list can go on and on. For the next 2.5 minutes, take this time to let someone know that they matter to you. Doc, start the clock. All right, according to my timer, that's 2.5 minutes. So if everybody could have a seat, I'll try to bring this back together. I have just a couple more points. How does it make you feel to express gratitude? For me, it was special to share a special moment with my dad, a Navy veteran, and my aunt, and I just got a phone call back from her that lives in Poplar Bluff. Our world needs to share more gratitude and kindness each and every day. Veterans, you make it possible for us to live in a free country and have the ability to share our gratitude with other people. Thank you. The final reason to recognize our veterans is to provide them with support and care. Veterans Day should remind us of our responsibility to support and care for our veterans. Many veterans face physical, mental, or emotional challenges after their service. It's our duty as a society to ensure they receive the support and respect that they truly deserve. In conclusion, Veterans Day is a day to remember the sacrifices of those who have served, to express our gratitude, and to reinforce the values that make our nation great. It's a day to stand together as a community and show our veterans that we appreciate and respect their service. Let us never forget the significance of this day, and let it be a reminder that the freedom we enjoy today has been preserved and protected by the bravery of our veterans. Thank you to all veterans for their service, and may we continue to honor them not only on Veterans Day, but every day moving forward. All right, this concludes our Veterans Day tribute ceremony. I would like to turn it back over to Anna Bennett to retire the colors. Anna.
The VFW Post 2210 Color Guard will now retire the colors.
At this time, I would like to offer a final thank you to our heroes and would like to dismiss you before you get caught in end-of-school traffic. Oh, no. Okay, do I just tell them to go? And they're just standing here.
They'll stay. Just tell the students they can be seated.
Okay. Students, you may be seated.
There you go. Now
Okay, now I can.
Now we'll just wait. I would wait for a couple minutes and let these guys
Okay.
exit, and then
Okay.
we'll